peeps. Happy Easter. Welcome to We Need to Talk with Chris Godinez. I am your host, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up, and it will have all of the therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, APA, or any other therapist for that damn matter. Boom. Okay, so some housekeeping stuff. Hi, Jen. Good to see you. Housekeeping stuff. So yesterday I did Vet Adrenaline, which was amazing, frightening, terrifying, amazing. It is a wonderful organization. I am going to be cleaning up the video and posting it onto YouTube so people can donate, because I'm going to give them all the information as to where people can donate to Vet Adrenaline. What I did is I got into one of the drift cars with a race car driver. It was terrifying. I got to tell you, I was terrified out of my mind. It's like I soiled my armor. I thought I was going to, seriously, because my dad used to abuse by playing chicken with us in the car. And so for me to get into a car with a guy I don't know and have him do crazy stuff, and we actually got hit. That's when we spun out that first time. It's because we got tapped and our car lost control, and we kind of, well, he didn't really lose control, but we went in a circle and stuff, and it was terrifying. However, it was very empowering, and it was very, what's the word I'm looking for? It was definitely an adrenaline rush. I went home that night after the whole event was over, and I slept like the dead because I was so exhausted. I mean, it was like literally when I got out of the car, I was like, ah! So cannot recommend it high enough. If you are a veteran, if you have PTSD and you are a veteran, please go to Vet Adrenaline, look it up. And what it does is it connects a positive experience with the adrenaline rush as opposed to a negative experience. And so what we're doing is we're reprogramming the brain, basically. And so Vet Adrenaline does not only the drift rides, but they also do an off-roading thing. And if you donate, you can get a veteran in that seat as opposed to me in that seat, because I'm never doing it again, I swear to God, unless I have to. If I have to do it to raise funds, I will. But other than that, I would really rather see a veteran be in that passenger seat. I really would. So go to vetadrenaline.com and donate. And I want to thank the listeners who did donate. Thank you. You have no idea how much this means to me, how much it means to Jess. It's huge. It's a wonderful organization. So, okay. All right. Where was I going with this? Oh, okay. So there was the Vet Adrenaline thing. And so, all right. Upcoming events. I will be in Atlanta, Georgia, April 21st and 22nd. On the 21st, I will be signing books at Postman Books. I'd like to thank Mark Stiles for that. And I will also be at Tall Tales in Georgia. And then I will also be, belch. I will also be doing a lecture at the Smyrna, Georgia Community Center, which I'm very much looking forward to. I'm just looking forward to going to Georgia. I freaking love Georgia. I love to travel. Traveling is like my favorite thing ever, because you get to meet people and you get to try the cuisine and you get to see the different things and the different countryside. And what I love is, because I live in Arizona and everything is so brown, going to Georgia, everything is so green. And it's like, oh, it's so green. Oh my God, it's awesome. So I love it. So anyway, really looking forward to that. So that is April 21st and 22nd. So the 21st, I will be doing book signings. I don't think I'll be doing a lecture at either one, because the Tall Tales one is only an hour. So I think I'm just going to be signing books. The Postman Books one is, I think, going to be 2 hours. So I still don't think there's time to do a lecture, but if you want to stop on by, pick up a book, let me sign it, we can chit chat. Absolutely. And then I will be doing a lecture at the Smyrna, Georgia Community Center. I keep going Swedish on that one, and I don't know why. So anyway, it'll be at the Smyrna, Georgia Community Center. We are also offering VIP tickets, so that if you want to come have like a little coffee, a little nosh, a little thing, a little eating, a little stuff and things, and we talk, that would be great. So, and the price of the lecture is included in that. So come join me. That would be awesome. Alrighty then, where am I going now? Hang on. Oh, so the other thing about the Vet Adrenaline thing is confronting our fears. And I got to tell you, I was really, truly terrified. That was not, I was almost crying. Seriously, the poor guy, I felt so bad for him, because he was like, it's okay, we're safe, it's all right. I'm like, I'm okay. You know, so, but it's really important to do that. Now, am I saying that I would necessarily get into a car with a stranger that I don't know and go drifting? Probably not. But it was a good thing to do, because now it's kind of like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, fuck y'all, I can do that. So it's good to confront your fears. It really is. And it is empowering, and it is exhausting because, like I said, I came home and I just took a shower and passed out. Anyway, all right, skydiving. No, Grace, unless I am attached to Gerard Butler and we're doing it in tandem, it ain't happening. I swear to God, if Gerard Butler contacts me and says, let's go do that, I will shit Twinkies in the wrapper. Anyway, there that is. Okay. Oh, also share these videos, guys. Share these videos. Share this one, share the old ones. Go back, find my old ones. Share them, share them, share them, share them. Why? Because we need to educate everybody and their dog, seriously, as to what abuse is, what abuse isn't, how abusers behave, what their tactics are, what the handbook is. You know, it's so funny. Somebody was like, you should write the narcissist handbook and then you should write the survivor's handbook. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of doing that, but yeah, not a bad idea just to list it out. It's like, this is what these fuckers do. And this is what we have to do when we get away from these fuckers. So, you know, it's a thing. All right, so let's see. So communal narcissists. I figure since we are on Easter, we might as well talk about communal narcissists. So, am I coming to Iowa? Woo! I would love to come to Iowa. That would be fun. I would love. See, what I'd love to do is do the whole snowbird thing. So it's like hit like the north when it's 120 down here in June. Not looking forward to that. It's going to be 90 today. I already turned on the air conditioning. I'm like, what the? So, and then like travel the South in the wintertime. That would be my preference. So we're trying to work on that. And then I've gotten people in England that want me to come out as well, which again, I think I would do probably in the summertime. So it's, you know, I mean, their summer for me is like spring. So, cause anything less than 120 is cool. All right. Hello, darlings. Okay. So yeah, I would be screaming the entire time too if I was skydiving. That's probably what would absolutely happen. Yes. You know, it's kind of like, why are we jumping out of a perfectly good working plane? I don't understand. Okay. All right. You did a tandem free fall. Oh my God, Grace, you have got gonads, man. You got cojones. You got cojones. I'm telling you, that's awesome. Wow. All right. So communal narcissism. Let's talk about that. So I've had a bunch of questions, and especially because today is Easter, on communal narcissism. Now, this does not just mean Christianity, guys. It doesn't. A communal narcissist is anyone who claims to have the hookup to God or the hookup to the universe. It can be metaphysical. It can be Buddhist. It can be any organized or unorganized religion. It can be Wiccan. It can be, you know, anything. And so what a communal narcissist does is that they pretend where are you located? Who, me? I'm in Mesa, Arizona. So that's where my office is. So where was I? Sorry, squirrel, had coffee and got off track already. So what a communal narcissist does is they pretend they have the hookup. And if you're dealing with somebody who is a metaphysical communal narcissist, and trust me, they're everywhere. I mean, if you look at some of the yoga sites and some of the metaphysical sites, you know, anybody who claims to be a guru with the hookup and, oh, I'm psychic and I can see right through you and I know you better than you. What the fuck? No, they don't. I'm sorry. Nobody knows you better than you. You know you the best, period. And anybody, whether it's a counselor, because you can find narcissists in counseling as well, whether it's a counselor, whether it's a guru, whether it's a religious leader, whether it's a psychic, whether it's, you know, any of this stuff. If they start saying things like, I know you better than I see through you, I see the, you know, no, they don't. What they're trying to do is manipulate and control you, and they are using communal narcissism to do it. So communal narcissism is when anybody claims to be having the religious hookup in any way, shape, or form and can see through you, and they get you to believe that you don't know yourself, but yet they know you better. And again, this is like, we're talking like a Jim Jones. I mean, you want to talk like on the extreme end of the spectrum, you know, you've got the kind of the guru-ish, you know, wanting to control and manipulate type people down here. And then you've got the Jim Joneses and the David Koresh's and the Hale Bop guy. You know, I can't impress upon you enough. You know you better. You know you better than anybody. You know what is working for you and what does not. So when I am working in session with somebody and I offer an intervention or a suggestion and they go, yeah, no, that's not going to work for me. I go, okay, well, let's try something else. I'm not going to push it, because if they're telling me it's not going to work for them, then okay, we need to work around it and find a different way to get the same result. So help me help you, help me help you, help me help you, right? So that's what we do. Hang on a second. It was awesome. And no adult diapers. Oh my God, that's hysterically funny. I still don't know if I would do it. I really, oh my God, I'm not sure about that. Okay, hold on. Oh yeah. Okay, biker clubs. That can be considered communal narcissism as well. It doesn't have to be religious. So basically, communal narcissism means that the narcissist has hooked them up with some sort of community, and they are using the community as flying monkeys to back up their narcissism. So it's anybody, it's anything. So like with biker clubs, they could use like, intimidation, or, they can, do stuff like that. I mean, it depends on the community, right? And it depends on what they're using it for. Yeah, bounced from church to church. Gave himself permission to perform weddings. Wow. Marital counseling as well as funerals. Scary. So yeah, you've got to be very careful, because basically, unfortunately, anybody can go get a Universal Life Church, and be declared a pastor. Exactly. Do you see where I'm going with that? And that's why I'm saying it's important to know who you are dealing with. What is the credentials of this person? Which is why I always state at the beginning of every episode, it's like, I am a licensed professional counselor. I have gone through my master's training. I educate myself continually on as many topics as I possibly can. It's not like I'm talking out of my ass, which I think is so funny, is when the abusers get on and try to leave nasty comments. My intern, Rodney, he's amazing. He'll send me like a little text and just go, deleted 3 of them today. And I'm like, okay, I don't even see them anymore, which is so good. So yeah, and usually they're along the lines of, she doesn't know what she's talking about, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, actually I do. And writing books on it. So have fun with that, because I'm going to educate everybody so that everybody sees you for what you are, you narcissists out there, you abusers out there. I'm going to expose you like nobody's business. That's my mission in life. All right. So, and it's funny to me that they even bother coming to this website or to this video chat, because it's kind of like, if you know this is what I do, what makes you think I'm going to put up with abusers here? I'm not. What makes you think I'm going to put up with abusers on YouTube? I'm not. So, what makes you think that you're going to shut me down? You're not. Have fun with that. All right. So, and also I am keeping a list. Rodney actually is keeping a list of all of the names being used, and we're turning them into Facebook and we're turning them into YouTube, because we're not putting up with it. We're not. There it is. All right. Because this community has dealt with enough bullshit, and I'm not putting up with it for 1 second more, and neither should you. If you guys see an abuser on here, please let me know. I'll let Rodney know. He'll deal with them, and we'll get rid of them, because I'm not putting up with it. All right. Okay, so where were we? My ex sent me a holiday Hoover letter saying I'm a bad influence on people, I have a bad mouth, and she still loves me and forgives me. It's been 9 or 10 months of no contact from me. Don't respond. Don't respond. Don't respond. Don't respond. Don't respond. Holiday Hoover. Absolutely. It's weird. They even Hoover around like Easter. And I'm sitting here going, why would you Hoover around Easter? That's really strange. I mean, you wouldn't think that they would, but they do. They'll use any excuse if they have run out of supply to come back and Hoover. Okay. So getting back on to the communal narcissists. Okay. Yeah, Shannon, absolutely. I had a friend that told me about being on a spiritual quest, therefore she didn't need therapy, and neither would I if I followed this path too. No longer friends. Good idea. So, spiritual narcissists, communal narcissists don't like therapy. They don't. Abusers don't like therapy. They love therapy if they can get in with a counselor who does not know their stuff and does not recognize an abuser when they see one, because then they can manipulate the counselor. And believe me, that they try to do that to me so often. And as soon as they know that I know what they are, they peace out. So, yeah, if you are a true human being, if you are truly interested in growth, you take care of yourself. And that means you take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and therapeutically. You go to a counselor to work on your issues. You go to a spiritual practice if that's what you want to do. You take care of yourself physically. You take care of yourself in all realms. That's what self-esteem is. Everybody thinks that self-esteem is this like one fixed point in time. And, oh, I've got great self-esteem because I really like what I do at work. Okay, what do you tell yourself when you're alone? What do you tell yourself in the dark in the middle of the night? What is this voice saying? If it's saying anything less than, I love you, good job, keep going, then Houston, we got a problem and we got to work on this. So yes, spiritual abusers will proclaim to be, having the hookup, that they're psychic, that they see through you, that they know exactly what you're thinking and they know how to heal you. They know better than anybody how to, whatever for you. Oftentimes what they will do when you get involved, and yes, they can be found in the AA program, absolutely, any organized group, okay, communal, meaning community, they will be in these groups unless and until people figure them out and shun them, basically. So yeah, they can be in AA, which is why I tell people, when you go for support groups, always be careful, because sometimes there are predators in support groups. Sometimes counselors can have narcissism. Absolutely. Remember, I keep saying part of the ACA and part of the APA keeps wanting to get rid of the personality disorders. Why? Because the part that wants to get rid of it probably has it. So yeah, you got to be careful. You've got to ask a lot of questions. You've got to start trusting your gut. So what they do is they get into one of these communities, whether it is a religious group, whether it is AA or CODA or any of these things, and they start setting themselves up as some sort of enlightened spiritual guru. Now, anybody who tells you they have all the answers is lying to you. Nobody has all the answers. Nobody does. I don't have all the answers, and I am the first to admit that. And anybody who says they do, you run. Do not walk to the nearest exit, seriously. So they will then, what I see happening in AA is that you'll find people that want to do the be your sponsor kind of thing. But what you'll find is that they'll have like 12 or 13 or 14 other sponsees. You can't effectively sponsor somebody if you've got that many sponsees. What they're doing is they're collecting a harem to them of sponsees to build up their ego, narcissistic supply, right? So they're narcissistic supply. And they're using the sponsees as narcissistic supply. So that's why you got to be careful. So when I tell my peeps, when they go into AA or any sort of recovery, it's like, look, if you're getting a sponsor, if you're getting a mentor, make sure there's no more than 2 other sponsees. Make sure that they are only looking after 2 other sponsees, 3 at the max. You're the third, because they have to have time to be able to pick up the phone at 2:00 in the morning when you're getting you've been triggered and you're craving alcohol or you're craving heroin or you're craving meth or you're craving whatever. To be able to go, hey man, meet me at the coffee shop. Let me talk you off the ledge. Okay. That's what a good sponsor does. Okay. They're always there to support and help and talk you out of it. So yeah. And that's what you got to be careful of, is if in AA, they have got a whole slew of sponsees, you can bet you're dealing with somebody who's doing it for an ego trip, as opposed to, gee, I really want to help people. So yeah, that is something to keep in mind. Yeah, so they'll have so here's the thing. Here's what I've noticed with the fake people, the fake prophets, the fake gurus, is they have this very pseudo calm. I'm so enlightened, I'm so calm, I have no emotions. I've got the hookup. I know exactly what you're thinking. And it's bullshit, man. It's bullshit. A real person has emotions. A real person has a whole plethora of emotions. The pseudo gurus are always unnaturally calm. Why is that? Let's take a look at psychopathy, shall we? Psychopaths don't go for the highs and the lows. They're kind of right across the board. So they're the ones that are able to maintain that pseudo fake calm. It's not normal. It is psychopathic behavior. And those people are very much drawn to positions of power where they can harm somebody, where they can manipulate somebody who is in need, who is in suffering, who is in whatever. And they do that fake calm. I had this professor who shall remain nameless because I do not want to be sued. Couldn't stand the guy. It's like he made my skin crawl, like seriously. And he had that pseudo calm, but right beneath the pseudo calm was a boiling cauldron of rage. This guy was a rageaholic like nobody's business, and he took it out on the students he thought he could. So yeah, and I complained about him because I'm like, oh hell no! If I didn't put up with that, put up with that from my father, I'm sure as fuck not putting it up with it from you. So yeah, so they would go after the ones, and it's funny because he was like, you can't use humor in therapy. You'll never be able to use humor in therapy. You're gonna fail as a therapist if you use humor in therapy. Really? At practice, I'm going, well, I'm touring the country. Go fuck yourself. So, but seriously, they don't like humor. Narcissists don't like humor, which brings me to April Fool's Day. I hate April Fool's Day. I hate it. 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 Now, I'm not saying everybody has to hate it. You don't, because if you're doing April Fool jokes and they're not harming anybody, that's great. If the person is not being humiliated or their dignity is being taken from them, that's fine. What I don't like is, remember, I was raised with a very sadistic father. He was sadistic. You look up the word sadist, there is not a picture of the Marquis de Sade. There was a picture of my father. So for me, April Fool's Day is a very fraught day with triggers because he was cruel. He was cruel. He was a cruel man. So, and his humor was cruel, and it was always at the expense of somebody else. And that's never okay. That is never okay. If you are harming somebody, humiliating them, putting them down, making them feel stupid, like really damaging them. And abusive parents do this to kids. It's like they'll make the kid wrong for being gullible. They'll make the kid wrong for not knowing. You know, they'll pull a prank, a joke. Remember, abusers love the just kidding bullshit. They're not kidding. They mean it. They absolutely mean it. And they would get that recognition. You know, my dad especially would get that recognition, look on his face. Like he knew it. He enjoyed it. You could tell it was awful. It was horrible. So this is why I don't like April Fool's Day, because it's usually at the expense of somebody who is either, you know, just doesn't know, ignorant, you know, not like ignorant, like, oh, you're so ignorant, but like ignorant, they don't know, or they're innocent, or they're naive, or they're gullible. And I don't like that. That's not okay. To me, that's not okay. If you're doing a joke and it doesn't harm anybody, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Because we kind of got into a discussion on one of the posts that I posted, because I said, I don't like April Fools. I don't. And the reason I don't is because it's very triggering. You know, and this is something to think about too, is again, not everybody puts themselves into other people's shoes. So when I was working at the homeless shelter, and prior to that, when I was working as an administrative assistant at the mental hospital in Selwood, Oregon, you know, when holidays like Halloween and April Fools came up, I made it very clear that we're dealing with a vulnerable population. Nobody dresses up, nobody does anything stupid, because we don't want to make these people sicker, kind of thing. And when you're dealing with a population that may have been in very abusive situations, and often that was the case in both the homeless shelter and the mental health hospital, you don't want to do anything to trigger them or to make them worse. So that's why I don't like those days. And it's like, you know, if you know the person well enough and you can play a practical joke on them and it's not going to damage them, fine, that's great. But if you don't know them well, and you don't know their history, and you don't know whether or not this is going to harm them, don't fucking do it. That's all I'm saying. So, you know, common sense, not so common. And plus the fact, again, we have a really hard time putting ourselves in other people's shoes. So really put yourself in other people's shoes before you say or do jokes like that. So that's all I'm saying. So, okay, back to communal narcissism. So what they will do is, no matter what they are in, they use the same tactics that POW camps use. Okay. So we're talking the sleep deprivation, the lack of food, the lack of privacy, the lack of, you know, they'll go through your mail, your phone, your this, your that. You can only watch this television show. You can only see this. You can only watch this music or listen to this music. You can only do this. You can, lots of constraints on who you can and cannot be. And that's where cults are so dangerous, because they practice the same exact tactics that narcissists practice and the POW camps practice. So if you read up on any survivor of a prisoner of war camp, all of the tactics are the same. It may be done on a mass scale because they're doing it to so many people at once, but it's all the same. And it's the same if you look up at what David Koresh did and what Jim Jones did. It's all the same. And so they're all run by megalomaniacal narcissists, dark triads. Absolutely. Okay, so there was that. Hold on, let me make sure I got the questions answered. Oh, Lord. Okay, James, that's a really good point, and I do want to hit on that. You know you're dealing with a narcissist when they have to know everything about everything. Okay. They will get into a conversation and they will start pontificating on things they know nothing about. Like, seriously, know nothing about. Like, you've got the doctorate in chemistry, suddenly they'll start lecturing you about chemistry. Or you've got the master's degree in law, and suddenly they'll start lecturing you on law. Okay. They have to be the expert, quote unquote, in everything. Okay. They're not, but they sound, they're so darn sure of what they're saying. And it's funny because it's like, when they're full of shit, it's like you're sitting there and you're looking at them going, what are you saying? Because that doesn't even make sense. So yeah, oftentimes what I see happening is that a narcissist will come in and want to do couples counseling. I won't allow it because I recognize the situation and I'll insist on individual. And then when they come back in, they're trying to tell me about psychology. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to fly. So yeah, they have to be the experts in everything. And here's the thing. It's like, when you recognize that happening, shun them, call them out. Absolutely. Call them out. They'll have a fit, but call them out. It's bullshit. All right. All right. Where was I? I can't go backwards on this. I don't know why it won't let me back up and see comments from earlier. Okay. So why do narcissists need supply? Okay, so here's the thing. Narcissists need supply because they are all ego, okay? A normal, healthy person gets their internal strength from inside. That's what internal means. So it's inside. So self-esteem is not screaming to the world, tell me how great I am, tell me how great I am, tell me how great I am. It is that tiny little voice inside of you saying, you're okay. Keep going. Good job. Oops, you fucked up. Okay, forgive yourself. Move on. Compassion. So a narcissist, though, doesn't have that. They don't have the empathy cog. They don't have the self-esteem cog. What they do have is they recognize outside attention and they lap that up like, cocaine, and that's their supply. They need a constant supply of somebody telling them that they're okay and telling them that they're good and telling them that they're this. So it looks like this. So this is a person giving them supply, right? This is the narcissist, or this is anybody who doesn't have self-esteem. So you're relying on somebody else to give you that sense of who you are. But if this person goes away, kathunk, no bueno. So you want to, hold on. You want to make sure that you're working on your self-esteem so that you're not depending on an outside supplier or an outside source for your self-esteem. That's other esteem. That isn't self-esteem. That's other esteem. I love Deadpool. Just saying. All right. Politicians. Yes. It's funny. I had a conversation with Rich Will this weekend. He's going to put up the blog. We had a whole talk about politicians, dark triads, controlling, et cetera, Machiavellianism. All right. My ex claimed he was fixed in 3 sessions. Yeah. Or they'll lie about being in therapy altogether. That's another thing that they do, is they claim that they're in therapy when they're not, or they say they're in therapy, but then it turns out that they're seeing somebody who isn't a therapist. That's a really funny thing. Okay, it's very tricky and unfulfilling to need outside people. Oh, things are going too fast. Stop it. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. Narcissists absolutely will take psychology courses in order to learn the lingo. Remember mimicking? Remember, alien kind of thing? So they'll take like 1 or 2 psychology classes just so they can learn the lingo, so they can learn the terminology, so that they can manipulate people. Absolutely. And they really won't have any idea what the hell they're talking about. And they'll misuse it. They'll misuse the terminology and try to sound like, oh, this is what this is, and to try to convince the target of abuse that they know what they're talking about. They don't. They absolutely don't. Okay, no comments, blah, blah. Okay, good. Hi, thank you. All right. From what I see in court docs, my narc can't keep a lawyer and is now representing himself. That's a good thing. Repeatedly conning people, now capital case, think he's a psychopath. Yeah, they oftentimes will end up representing themselves because they declare that they know more than the lawyer does. I think it was Mark Twain who said this, but a lawyer who represents himself has a fool for a client. So it's true. You need a lawyer to go through the court system, because the court system is so convoluted. and you need to know how to play the game. And, you know, anybody who goes in representing themselves is just begging for trouble, seriously. But it's a good thing, because the narcissists are so arrogant that they honestly believe that they know the system better than anybody else, and that they're smarter than everybody else, and that they can figure it out, and that they don't have to worry about it. And that works out well for the opposing person, because they don't. So anyway, yeah, using AA as a supply, people can, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, somebody was saying that Hell on Wheels, no, Holy Hell on Netflix is a good movie. I don't know what it's about, but you know, it's a good thing. People are recommending it. Check it out. Thank you. I try to be funny. Okay. um, yeah, psychopaths are the ones that are cool, calm, and collected, no matter what. I mean, it's like you will never see a psychopath react the way I did in the Vetrinolin thing, because I was scared shitless. So yeah, they don't. They're calm, cool, collect, scary, ice cold, snake-like calm. It's a frightening thing to see. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, the smirk, that's the worst. So they use humor against other people. Lise, that's what they do. It's not a humor like a Monty Python thing. It's not a humor like I'm dating myself. I love Monty Python. But it's not humor that's like silly or ridiculous or lighthearted. Lighthearted, I think, would be the key. It's usually a humor that's directed at somebody else, or sarcastic or snarky or mean or nasty, or you know, that kind of thing. And God forbid that humor ever be turned around onto them. They will come unfucking glued, seriously. So, you know, watch how they handle situations that don't go well. That's one clue that you're dealing with somebody who is mentally ill. So too sensitive is a load of crap. Too sensitive is a load of crap. So every abuser out there will use, it's like I said, they've got a playbook. They got a playbook, and they got phrases that they use. So too sensitive is one of them. So they will tell the target of abuse that you're being too sensitive, or I was just kidding, you're being too sensitive. So anybody who says just kidding, bullshit. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. Total bullshit, because they mean it. So what cowards do is they couch stuff in humor. They couch stuff in humor to hide their real intent. Kind people don't ever intentionally harm somebody else, period. That's just the way it is. All right. They are the hypersensitive lunatics. Yeah, I totally agree. Put down some, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Trying to catch up here. Sorry. Okay, we're talking about the know-it-alls. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up here. Hi, Chris. I've learned so much from watching your videos. It's a real eye-opener. I always thought there was something off with my mom, because she's always talking about church and is always posing to help others. And it's so clear to me that she fits the traits of communal narcissism. She doesn't actually follow through with anything. It's all talk. Yes, nothing to show for it. And as far as immediate family, she always redirects me to someone else for help or support. Yeah. So here's the thing about narcissists is that they treat their own family like crap, but they will do whatever for strangers. So yeah, they will either be all talk and no do, or they will bend over backwards to help total strangers. Meanwhile, their family is sitting there going, hi, I'm your daughter. I'm your son. What the fuck? Yeah, they'll totally help, you know, outside people, but they will totally ignore their own family. Or like you said, it's all talk. They don't do anything, but they talk a good game. So yeah, absolutely. That's the mark of a communal narcissist. Absolutely. Okay, let's see. Sorry, reading stuff. Okay. All right. So, okay, communal narcissism. So I just wanted to make it clear that it's not just communal narcissism is not just for Christians anymore. It's any community. It's bikers. It's Buddhism. It's yoga. It's Christianity. It's Wiccan. It's in any group. Okay, anything that can be a community. A communal narcissist will seek to infiltrate that and to use that AA coda, use that as a position of power, or I know more, or I am your guru, or I am the ultimate answer to everything, and I've got the hookup to God, or whatever. So anytime you get involved in any group, honestly, and somebody is acting like a know-it-all or has got a whole harem around them, or, starts doing these weird kind of, you know, abusive type of things, be careful, be aware, be awake. It's like nobody's got the answer. You've got the best answer for you that anybody has, honestly. And you can get guidance from people, but they don't know you. You know you. Trust your gut, trust your gut, trust your gut. I cannot say that enough. Okay, so I think I'm going to dive into actually answering questions, unless you guys have got more questions about communal narcissism. One last thing I'm going to say about communal narcissism is my experience with it was my dad. So if you read, shameless plug, yes, I know, so sorry. What's Wrong with Your Dad, which is available on Amazon on print on demand. My dad would drag me to church. And one of the last times I went to church with him was actually on a Sunday. Sunday Easter, and yeah, on a Sunday. Yeah, that's usually when churches are, Chris. Hello. But it's like on an Easter Sunday we went. It was one of the last times I went with him, and it was this horrific sermon. It was like snuff Christianity is what I called it in the book, because the guy went into anatomically correct detail of how Christ suffered on the cross and how horrible it was and how painful it was, and then somehow he looped it all the way back to that it's all women's fault. And of course, my dad is sitting there nudging me, and I'm just like, you know what? We're done. Have a nice day. This is it. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. I'm not doing this again. Bye-bye. So yeah, and abusers are very much attracted to the fringe kind of Christianity, or the fringe Buddhism, or the fringe yogi. I almost said Yoda. Yogiism. They're attracted to the fringe stuff because it's the more extreme. So remember, they've got very rigid thinking. All or nothing, black or white, good or bad. And so they're very attracted to those fringes of religion that are very exclusive, that are very racist, sexist, misogynistic, hate other races, that kind of thing. Because it validates their worldview, basically. So that was my last experience with with communal narcissism, and I just was like, yeah, no, my life's too short. I don't have time for this. So yeah. So anyway, and I'm not saying all religion is like that, guys. This is the funny thing, because then I get people that are like, you don't like Christianity. No, I do, actually. And there are some branches of Christianity that I really love and I think are great and wonderful. And then there are some branches where I'm like, no, thank you very much. I will never go there. Bye-bye. So, again, trust your gut. If it's demeaning, mean, cruel, nasty, it's not the right religion, because that's not what the universe and God is all about. At least not for me. If it is for you and you want to hear that crap, go for it. But for me, no, thank you. Life is too short. Life is way too short. So that was my experience with my dad with communal narcissism. He would use Christianity as a way to manipulate and control. And he would use the Bible completely out of context. And, say his favorite quote was something like, I can't remember what it was, but it was like pointing out how ungrateful children can be, and this, that, and the other thing. I don't even think it was Christianity. I don't even think it was the Bible. It might have been Shakespeare. I think it was Shakespeare. It was King Lear. How sharper than the serpent's tooth is that of an ungrateful child. And that was his favorite hue and cry. He was also a martyr. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Martyrs. So what the martyrs will do is they will use Christianity. I'm such a good Christian. I do all this for all these other people, if they are the ones that actually go do it. And then they will damn their own family for being unworthy. Okay. So communal narcissists hide behind the Bible. They hide behind the Quran. They hide behind the Torah. They hide behind whatever it is, and use those books, use that knowledge out of context in order to manipulate and control the family members or the friends or the romantic partner or whatever. So just to be aware of that. Okay. Okay, so let's see. All right, hold on. Answering questions. Hang on. Okay, so again, Wiccan can be also, used as a communal thing for a communal narcissist. Absolutely. Any group, biker groups, Wiccan, Christianity, Buddhism, anything. So any, group of people, a book club, for Christ's sake, can be used for a communal narcissist. They get into the book club and suddenly they know everything about every single book ever published ever on the face of the planet and dictate everything. Yeah, you'll know who the communal narcissists are by how they use people in the group. So it's all about using. It's all about flying monkeys. It's all about, justifying their rigid thinking, their way of being, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Oh my gosh. Hello from Israel. Hello. Is it right to be upset with the narcissists themselves if they have no control over how their brain works? Bullshit. They have no control over their brain works. They absolutely do. They absolutely do. They know when they're hurting somebody, people. I cannot make that clear enough. Psychopaths know when they're hurting somebody. They just enjoy it. So narcissists are not these poor little, they have cancer. Oh, poor them. They can't help it. Bull fucking shit. They absolutely can help it. They choose not to. Again, let's talk about this. Abuse spectrum, right? So you kind of have traits of all the way down to malignancy. When somebody has slid into malignancy, it is a choice because they've been told early on, no, this is not going to fly. No, we're not going to put up with this. No, this is not good behavior. No, 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 no. People have left them. People have moved on. They've gone and found other people that would put up with it. They continually choose. They choose. They know when they know when they're lying. They do. They absolutely know when they're lying, and they choose to believe their own lies. It is a choice. This is a disorder. This is not a disease. Let's make that very, very clear, people. Cancer, disease. Narcissism, disorder. Choosing. There is an element of choice in this. Now, do they have the crazy thinking that prevents them from thinking clearly? Yes, absolutely. Is this nature nurture? I have no freaking idea. I don't. We don't know for sure. This is not a hard science. It's not like I can say, look at this study and it says that brain chromosome number 24 goes cuckoo when, I can't do that. Nature nurture, I don't know, but I'll tell you something. You talk to an abuser, they abso-fucking-lutely know what they are doing, and they tell you they know what they are doing. They admit to it. They're stupid. They tell you, yeah, they do. They tell you exactly what they're going to do. They tell you exactly what they have done, and they're somewhat proud of it because manipulating to them is everything. So don't you kid yourself for one fucking second that this person doesn't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. All right. Okay. How come I can't go backwards on this? This is really annoying. So I'm missing some of your guys' questions. I am so sorry. I don't understand why it does this. Okay. So there's nothing to do about it. Okay. Yeah, they know what they're doing. Don't even kid yourself. Okay, sweetheart. Rebecca, sympathy versus idiot compassion. Let's talk about that. It's because we're empathic. We absolutely can put ourselves in their shoes and go, God, that sucks to be them. Oh my God, what a horrible way to live. This is terrible. Idiot compassion, however, is when you allow that person to continue in your life and continue to harm you. That is idiot compassion. Jesus didn't put up with that. Buddhists don't put up with that. Not very many religions I know put up with that. So when somebody is abusing you, you can absolutely, I give you permission to have compassion for them. Absolutely. We have compassion for everybody on the face of the planet, but you don't have to have them in your life. You can love them from afar. You do not need to have them in your life. If they are harming you, how are you helping them by allowing them to continue to harm you? That's called enabling. That's not helping. So if they are harming, you can love them from afar. You don't need them in your life. You can wish them well. You can, pray for them. You can do whatever you need to, but you do not need to have them in your life. That is called idiot compassion. Pema Chodron talks about it. She is the American Buddhist nun. She's got a whole video on it. If you want to go onto YouTube and look up idiot compassion, Pema Chodron, it will pop up. Watch it. It's a great video. All right. And there's a difference between sympathy and empathy. And there's a difference between sympathy and compassion. So sympathy is like, oh, poor baby. Compassion is like, wow, your childhood was really fucked up and I get where you're coming from. I see the dysfunction. I know why you're behaving this way. And you know what? I choose not to have that in my life. I can feel compassion for you. It sucks to be you. That's a horrible position to be in. I'm really sorry you've chosen that this lifetime, but I don't need this in my life. I break that karma contract. I do not need to be abused this lifetime. Thanks for playing. Do you see the difference? There's a difference. So with sympathy, it's like, well, and realize too, we get this whole societal thing that's like, and especially if we're codependent, it's like, oh, if it's a parent, oh, if it's a lover, if it's a child, if it's this, fix them, fix them, fix them, fix them, fix them, fix them. No, you are under no obligation. You are under no obligation. And in fact, the only person you can save is you. So with the codependency, the wanting to have an abuser in your life, you want to take a look at The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker. Read it, live it, love it, learn it. Okay. It's going to save you. So that's all I can say about that. All right. Dry, dark humor. It depends. If the humor is harming somebody else, then that's not good. If it's not harming anybody else, then that's fine. Chris, have you heard of any cases outside of the US where psychopathic psychologists, counselors lost their right to do therapy after being outed by clients, asking because it creeps me out that I know of at least 2 cases of overtly abusive guys, who went into the field. Stop! Wish we could stop the pandemic all around. Oh my God, it's like I start reading and then it starts going up and I can't make it stop. Yes, actually. So what you want, this is why I'm saying you want to check out people 10 Ways to Sunday. You do. So in the US and outside of the US, yes, counselors have been nailed for being unethical. Hello, there's a reason why we have the ACA Code of Ethics. There's a reason why that's pushed every 2 years. We have to go take an ethics course. Every 2 years, we have to take a community standards course. We have to take, stuff to keep us current on what is going on. And yeah, like I said, when licensure came about in Arizona, if you looked at the reprimand log for the counselors here, most of the counselors that were getting in trouble were sleeping with their clients. I'm like, I just really dog face banana patch. How the fuck do you think that's okay? So it's a power differential. And so when I was going through school, there was a couple of people in my class that brain aneurysm that were like, but I don't understand. Why can't we sleep with our clients if we're not seeing them anymore? I'm like, it's a power differential, you dumb bitch. Seriously, it's like you will damage them. It's all about not damaging the client. The ethics are there for a fucking reason. Jesus Christ almighty. It just, sorry, it just pisses me off. And if you looked at the logs of why counselors got into trouble, especially after licensure just started in the state, it was mostly for shit like borrowing money from their client, or sleeping with them, or, something completely unethical. I'm just like, what the fuck? It's not that hard. Seriously. Ugh. Anyway, that's why I am in favor of licensure. So at least there's some sort of oversight. Does it have its issues? You betcha. Do I agree with everything that they do? No, I do not. However, I would much rather there be some sort of oversight so that we can kick people like that out of the profession and try to keep it somewhat safe. So yes, outside of the United States, yes, stuff like that happens all around the world. It does. Why? Because narcissists are all around the world. And what are they attracted to? Positions of power where they can influence people who are in a vulnerable position. That's why I'm saying when you go to find a counselor, you want hopefully to get a personal recommendation, and or you check them out 10 Ways to Sunday. You go onto the license thing and you see if they have anything against them. See if they've been written up. See if they have a problem. See if stuff is going on. Abso-fucking-lutely. If it's for anything other than like a technicality like paperwork, yeah, you need to be concerned. Okay, so yeah, check it out. Seriously. So yeah, yes, absolutely. And remember, half of the ACA and half of the APA want to get rid of the personality disorders. So guess what? Half of the APA and half of the ACA has probably got personality disorders. Just a little passionate about that. Sorry, I'm screaming. I'm sorry. It's like all your ears are probably ringing right now. Sorry. Anyway, because it's like, get the fuck out of my profession. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, where was I? Sweet baby Jesus. Cheryl, are you making fun of me? That's all I said yesterday when I was in the car. I was like, sweet baby Jesus. 7 pounds, 6 ounce baby Jesus. Oh my God. Okay. That was... Jess was very proud of me. Jess is the only man besides Gerard Butler and possibly my husband that could get me into that car. So, all right. All right. Thank you, Milena. Thank you for recommending the book. Okay. All right. Yeah, Carlita, they somehow looped it back to being all women's fault that Jesus was crucified, even though all the players are accordingly in the Bible were all men. So go figure. I don't know. So yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so the communal narcissists are a whole new kind of evil. How does one deal with them? Everyone else thinks they're a copy of Jesus. You leave. You know, don't be around them. I hate to say it, but if you have to change churches, or if you have to change Gaia groups or Wicca groups, or whatever it is you're into, if you've got a communal narcissist there that is soiling the water, leave. Find another group. Seriously, it's like you don't have to put up with them, and especially if other people think that they're walking on water and they're Jesus themselves. It's like, no. And going back to, thank you for bringing that up about, can't remember who brought that up. My God, I'm losing my mind. About psychiatrists, psychologists, etc. When my sister was going through, she originally wanted to become a psychologist. Okay, she was a physical therapist, then she wanted to become a psychologist. She was doing her internship with this guy out in California, and he was a guru. He was a guru. He was a creepy narcissist guru. And it turned out later on, after she left, I mean, he completely was like, I am God. I know everything, blah, 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 blah. He was sleeping with the female interns. He was doing all sorts. I mean, it was awful. And it turned her off of psychology because he used the psychology to convince all of these women to sleep with him. So yeah, they are out there. You guys need to be careful. Absolutely. Trust your gut. Listen to your gut. Listen to, does this feel right? Does this not feel right? What the fuck? That kind of thing. But yeah, they're out there, and they're unfortunately in positions of power. But again, because they are so arrogant, they usually implode and they get found out. But unfortunately, like a Harvey Weinstein, not Firestein, Weinstein. Yeah. Don't send hate mail to Harvey Firestein. It's not his fault. But like a Weinstein, eventually they implode because they harm enough people that eventually people can't just go, oh, it's just one or two, which is enabling. I'm sorry. If somebody says there's something going on, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. Unless, of course, you're dealing with a nutcase. It's like accusing all people of stuff, which happens, which pisses me off because then it makes real victims not be believed. So, okay, sorry. So I'm missing all of these questions because I can't go backwards. What the hell? Oh, okay. All right. Where am I going? Okay. 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 Let's see. Okay. All right. How to deal with the narc when they keep contacting by text to say sometime soon he or she will be coming to get some of their things, intertwined with how am I doing? Am I okay? You know what you do? You gather up the stuff and you say, my terms, we're going to meet at Starbucks. Here's your shit. If you're not there, I'm taking it to Goodwill, period. You do not allow, we do not negotiate with terrorists. That's something that Richie Grannon taught me. We do not negotiate with terrorists. I love that. That's brilliant. They're terrorists. They're personal terrorists. They are emotional terrorists. When they are doing stuff like that, it's a Hoover. Don't play the game. You put it back on your terms. Take your power back. You have the power. Take your power back. Dear narcissist, or whatever their name is, I have gathered up all of your belongings and I will be delivering it to Starbucks at such and such time. If you are not there by such and such time, I will be delivering this stuff to Goodwill or whatever. You do not have to put up with that. Put it back on your terms. Okay. All right. All right. Do, 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 do. All right, hang on a second. Sunday Christians. Okay, so Arthur, you're talking about Sunday Christians. So what a Sunday Christian is, or a Sunday Buddhist, or a Sunday whatever, they're the people who go to church every Sunday, sit in the pews, amen, hallelujah, but yet Monday through Saturday, they are backstabbing, they are gossiping, they are lying, they are harming, they are smearing, they are using, they are not Christians. So those are called Sunday Christians. And again, they can be found in any religion. They can be found in Wicca. They can be found in Christianity and Buddhism and in Yogiism and etc. Hindu. They're found everywhere. So it's like the person goes and pretends to be this wonderfully pious Christian, but yet Monday through Saturday, they're doing everything they shouldn't be doing. So it's kind of like, and this is what my husband John and I were talking about this morning. It's kind of like, look, if you're professing to be somebody or something, then you need to be that 24/7. You need to be that 365 days a year, because if you're not, it's called hypocrisy. And yeah, it's not cool. And you will find that most narcissists are the most hypocritical POSs you will ever meet in your life. So for example, again, I'm going to use my dad. He was borderline, but he had very strong narcissistic expression. So he was at church literally 3 times a week. He was terrified of dying. He was terrified of the afterlife. He was terrified he was going to hell. Probably with good cause. But then it's like he would leave church and then he would come home and do the communal narcissist thing, pay attention to everybody outside of the family and ignore his own kids, and then put down his own kids and tell us how horribly we were and this, that, and the other thing. It's like, that's not Christian. Sorry. And especially, and the thing that always angered me is I looked at my siblings and I was like, none of us are alcoholics. None of us are drug addicts. We all managed to get through college. We all have jobs. What makes us so horrible? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a Sunday Christian, is where they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk, and they're hypocrites. And it gives Christianity a bad name. It gives any religion a bad name. If you're claiming to be this, oops, hello, my earring just popped out. If you're claiming to be this and you're not really doing it, then, and you're a representative of that religion or that particular group of people, then yeah, you're a total hypocrite. Okay, where was I? All right. Narcissists behave at work, at church, at the market, etc. They could be nice at home, but they're not. It's a choice. Yeah, it absolutely is. All right. How do you get away from them when they threaten suicide? Okay, I've talked about this before. I will talk about this again. And this pisses the abusers off because I call out the behavior. In my experience, and this is only my experience as a counselor, when somebody is truly, truly bent on ending their lives, self-harm, they never say a word. They never say a word. They do not walk up and say, if you leave me, I'm going to kill myself. If you do this, I'm going to kill myself. That's a manipulation. So what you do is you hand them the suicide hotline and you leave. And if they kill themselves, that is their choice. It is not your fault, not your responsibility. But I'll tell you what a coward will do is they'll try to make somebody else responsible, even for the ending of their own life. They're cowards. And if they try to put that off on somebody else, they're cowards, because it's their choice. They're choosing. If they choose to kill themselves, it is their choice. Now, truly suicidal people will never say a word. What they will do, though, is they will do things like say goodbyes subtly, okay? And it's hard to catch unless you're a counselor. So they'll start giving away prized possessions. They'll start giving away things that mean a great deal to them. They'll start talking with some sort of finality. They don't make plans for the following week. They don't, it's really odd the way that they do it. So, and the normal person wouldn't catch it because you're not listening for it, because it's so unexpected you wouldn't think it. And the other thing of it is you'll never know. So here's the thing. The person could be perfectly happy, jovial, joking, and then the next week they're dead. They don't say a word. Really, truly suicidal people don't say a word, but manipulators will scream to the world that they're going to kill themselves. It's a manipulation. They are generally either going to make superficial suicidal gestures, or they will do suicidal ideation in an attempt to fear, make you fearful, intimidate, and control. So you want to get the hell out. You give them the suicide hotline, you call crisis, you call the police on them. If somebody is threatening suicide on you, you call 911. You do, and you do it each and every time. And I'll tell you what, one night in the county hospital will probably be enough for them to stop that bullshit. So there that is. Okay. I went from compassion to idiot compassion, and thankfully I'm back to compassion. Thank the Lord, because he got off on it. Yeah, absolutely. A self-professed clingy, needy new supply proposed to the narc and he agreed to marry her after 4 days. They'd been together for 3 weeks. Is that future faking? I know the narc doesn't deal well with needy, whiny women. Yeah, but it's a supply. It's somebody paying attention to them. And the scary thing of it is 4 days of being together, and they've only been together for 3 weeks. They're engaged. Ooh, good evening, and welcome to Two Disordered People Getting Together. My idea of a match made in hell. So yeah, scary. Okay, since I'm out of the most recent toxic relationship I'm feeling, but I still feel plenty of hostile, angry, irritable judgment towards the people on a daily basis. I don't remember choosing to feel those things. How do I fix them? I just finished a block of therapy. Okay, so anger. Yes, this is something I wanted to talk about today. All right, guys, anger gets a bad rap. Anger gets a bad rap because when we are in an abusive relationship, the only person that's allowed to be angry is the abuser. Go figure. So my father would rage. But if one of us spoke up and said, this isn't okay, I'm not okay with this, I'm angry at you for hitting my sister, I'm angry at you for hitting me, I am angry at you for kicking the dog, they would come unfucking glued, and then the punishment would start. Okay, so we learn very quickly not to express anger, or if we do express anger, it's always just right under the surface, or it's seething, or it's whatever. Does that make sense? So here's the deal. Anger is a natural function of us as a human being because we have emotions, and it is one of the emotions. Now, anger is not a pure emotion. So love is love, lust is lust, happy is happy, sad is sad. Anger is always driven by fear. Always. It's the threat, fear of being harmed in some way, shape, or form, either emotionally or mentally or physically. Okay, so it's always driven by fear. So it's part of our fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response. So remember, amygdala, here's the amygdala, inch inside of each ear. Threat comes in, the amygdala recognizes it, hippocampus, hypothalamus get activated, tell the body to release cortisol. We release cortisol, we start tensing up, we don't have the proper CO2 oxygen exchange. At this point, we're little tiny breaths, not going anywhere, racing thoughts, and we either go into a rage or we go into a panic attack. Now, the problem of it is that those two responses are normal responses to fear. Okay, but when we've got an abuser on board and the abuser is like, don't you get angry, I'll give you something to be angry about, our anger response gets twisted, and suddenly it's not okay for us to be angry. Now you throw religion in on top of that. That was something that my dad used to use, good Christian girls don't get angry. Oh, please. So yeah, so you throw stuff like that saying it's not okay to be angry and anger is a futile emotion, blah, 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 blah. No, anger is an emotion. So how do we express it? How do we deal with it? So first of all, good for you for recognizing that you're angry, because oftentimes we don't even get a chance to recognize that we're angry. That's the crazy thing. So, so with anger, it's a normal response to a threat of any sort. Okay. So how do we start accessing it? Well, one good way to do that would be to write it out. Get it out of your head, get it onto paper. What are you angry about? What's going on? And it could be 27 pages of fuck you asshole. It could be that. That's fine. If that's all you can get out, do it. It could be, wow, hello anger, fuck you, I'm really mad because, and then you write it out, and now you're putting it in, and you're processing it, and you're figuring out what you're angry about and why. And it's okay. Anger is okay to have. When anger becomes a problem is when people do not process it correctly or healthfully, and it comes out sideways. So in other words, what a lot of times what happens is when anger pops up, oh my gosh, you guys, I can't catch up on all of these because I can't go backwards. When anger pops up, okay, we tend to take it out on a safer target. So let's say that we're really angry at the abuser, but we can't take it out on them because we know we're going to get punished. So what we'll do is we'll take it out on the other parent that has nothing to do with the abuse, or we take it out on a sibling, or we kick the dog, or, whatever. So it's a displacement of the proper anger direction. So we have to learn to put the anger back righteously where it belongs, which is why I love Pete Walker's from CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving, because in chapter 3, I think it is, he talks about taking that shame and that anger and putting it back onto the abuser, the appropriate person for the anger, the one who deserves it, not the other parent that didn't harm us, and not the siblings who had nothing to do with it, but to that person. So yeah, anger is not a bad emotion. It's just a matter of getting comfortable expressing it and expressing it in a healthy manner so that you're not harming anybody, especially yourself. So writing it out is one good way to do it. Now, I personally like to work out. I love punching bags. Ask Just Manny. So he's got a punching bag. He's got two of them. He's got one that's shaped like a human, and he's got another one that's just your regular, punching bag. And whenever we get to work out on that, I love, love, love it, because boy, that's when I get my aggression out. I also have one at home that I work out on. So remember, we are physical beings, and some people can reach the emotion by doing the physical stuff first. Other people reach the emotion by doing the mental stuff first. It just depends on how you process it. So sometimes a combination of writing it out and then working out on a punching bag, or working out on a punching bag and then writing it out, works. So it's okay to express it. And when I have to express anger towards somebody I love, I do not rage at them. I do not scream at them. I do not call them names. I do not do any of that. What I do is I name the emotion. So here's a way to do it. Something happens and you're angry. Your feelings are hurt, right? So you're confronting either a parent or a sibling or a friend or, whatever. You name it. Susan, you know what? I have to let you know I am really angry right now. Like really angry, like livid, like seething anger. And I just wanted to let you know, because when this event happened, my feelings got hurt and I'm not okay with that. And I am angry, period. That's how you let somebody know you're angry. Now, the funny thing of it is, an abuser at this point will claim that you're screaming at them, because they can't handle emotions and they can't handle being called on it. So anybody who's not okay with you naming what you're feeling, you're dealing with an abuser. You're dealing with somebody who does not know how to deal with emotions. Abso-freaking-lutely. Okay. Okay. Okay, sorry, trying to catch up here. And I can't go backwards, guys. I don't know why it won't let me go backwards, but okay. Okay. Okay, so losing the parent or the sibling. Okay, so when we have to go no contact with family, it is terrifying. It absolutely is. It absolutely is terrifying, because, this is our quote unquote family. Okay, but here's the deal. Family's not always blood. We have to make our own family. We have to go find our tribe. That's what I keep saying. Find your tribe. Find your tribe. Find your tribe. Find people that resonate with you. Find people that are truly supportive, truly loving, truly caring, truly unconditional. If the family or the friends, the sibling, the parent, the cousin, the whatever, if they are harming you, if they are putting you down, being abusive, making you wrong, making you feel terrible, you spend time with them, you feel like shit. Oh my God. You don't want to be around that person. If you were not related to them, would you have anything to do with them? If the answer is no, act accordingly. You are under no obligation to caretake these people. If you're feeling the need to caretake them, please read Harriet Breaker's The Disease to Please, because it's codependency. So it is difficult getting rid of family. It is difficult going no contact. I posted a meme earlier about the different types of kids, and some of them run and some of them confront. They're the rebel. Some of them conform. So there's the conformers, the confronters, and then the runners. And yeah, you can be all of those at one time, So when we're little and we're not really aware of what's going on in the world, we tend to conform. And then when we start realizing this isn't normal, this isn't right, we can confront. And then if we get to the point where just like, y'all are fucked up, we run. Peace out. I mean, honestly, it's like as soon as I could, I moved 1,000 miles away from my family, because they were just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and I wanted nothing to do with them because they were crazy. And I recognized I could not fix them because I did not break them. It was up to them to fix them. And they didn't want to. So, why bang your head against a brick wall? So you can, again, love them from afar. Love them from afar. Offer them suggestions from afar, but don't get involved in the drama. Absolutely. And then go find your own family. Go find your own tribe. They're out there. They exist. They're here. They're on other websites like Flying Monkeys, Sociopaths. Wait, I can always get that backwards. Narcissists, Sociopaths, Flying Monkeys, oh my. Out of the fog.web. That's another great resource and has, support groups and things like that. Your tribe is out there, guys. Your tribe is out there. Go find them. Okay, hang on. Whoa, that's a long one. Okay. Financial abuse. Yeah, that's another thing that abusers do is they keep people financially strapped so that they can't leave, can't get an attorney, can't get a home, can't get an apartment, can't get a car, don't have the means to drive to work. Yeah, you betcha. Okay. Sorry, guys. Chris, why do we disbelieve that they were narcs and believe? Wow! Stop it! That they were narcs. It's gone. I don't know where it went. Oh my God. Debbie, do it again. Okay, hang on. Can you please talk a little bit about tight-knit families who act like cults? Okay, so tight-knit families. All right, so a healthy family allows diversion. And so there's diversity. It's like the kids are allowed to be who they are and there is no judgment, okay? When you are in a family with very rigid, supposedly tight knit, it's very xenophobic. In other words, they don't want outsiders. They don't want people to influence or come in or whatever. And so tight knit often is a bad thing. It's not always. Sometimes you have tight knit families that are great. But when I hear tight knit, it seems it's oftentimes connected with rigid thinking and not allowing new ideas in. So in dysfunctional families, they very much want everyone to conform and they very much have roles for people to play. So the golden child, the ignored middle child, the scapegoat, the comedian, the baby of the family, and those kids are never allowed to move out of those roles. That's not normal. That's not normal because a normal family, it's like, hey, you are who you are. There's no favorites. This is what it is. I love you all. Boom. That's a healthy, normal family. Whereas in a dysfunctional family, there's very much roles that are played. There's favorites, and it's clear that there's favorites. So yeah, that's the difference. Okay. All right. Oh, geez. Cheryl, good answer. To Sue, good answer. Okay. Oh, good Lord. You love the race car ride. I'm never doing that again. I'm just saying. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll be negotiating a settlement with my narc. I've presented 2 reasonable options. Any tips for me to prevent him from railroading me into his terms? Okay. Do you have a lawyer? Number one, that's always a good thing if you have somebody to back you up. Number two, it's like if it's reasonable, judges are very loath to drag things out. And when they see that the opposing party is just being unfucking reasonable, they'll often step in and be like, oh yeah, no, this is stupid. You should accept this. So how do you stick to your guns? What's your deal breaker? What's your deal breaker and who can you talk things over with? Do you have a therapist or somebody that you can trust to talk things over with to help give you the tools so that you can stick to your guns in the face of an abuser in court? That's always a good thing. So when I know that my people are going to court, I sit them down and I prep them. We go through imaginary questions. We go through, imaginary scenarios. And it helps because one of two things will either happen. Either their worst case scenario does not happen and it's a relief, or their worst case scenario happens and they're prepared. So sit down with somebody that can prepare you for that. My ex was such a hypocrite, but couldn't handle it when somebody did the same thing to them. Yeah, exactly. They're do as I say, not as I do. That's very much their thing. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's actually, Grace, that's a good thing. So when you're doing a negotiation with a narcissist in court, yes, you do try to make it look like it's their idea or that this will benefit them in some way, shape, or form. Grace, you're 110% correct. Yeah. So try to sell it like, this will benefit you, that kind of thing. And it's your idea and they'll believe you because they're crazy. My dad made me watch MASH when I was still around and I'm severely disabled. Oh dear. Okay. Sometimes you can use a communal narcissist tactic to your advantage and use the Bible against them. That's how I managed to get my mom off my back at times. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's so funny because they really, again, narcissists are arrogant, like nobody's business, and they think they know it all. And when they are confronted with somebody who actually does study the Bible or, knows enough about it to argue with them, it's funny how they stop. So, yep. All right. I had one of them that killed themselves and blamed me. I took it really hard. Sweetie, don't. It's not you. They chose. They absolutely chose. Never, ever accept somebody's suicide as your problem unless, caveat, you're the abuser. who has handed them the gun and said, please go kill yourself, which some abusers do. So, and unfortunately, some targets of abuse take them up on it. So, but Lori, it's not you. It's not you. It's not you. It's not you. Never has been, never will be. Okay. So don't even take that on. It's a choice. It's a choice. Ending somebody's life, their choice, not anybody else's fault. Okay. No contact. Good. Oh, Dylan, I'm glad to hear that. I'm pretty sure my mother killed herself because she was pregnant with her fourth child. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. Okay. Narcs are so good at portraying the Good Samaritan in public, yes. With other people's money, yes. And cruel to the family. So they must know the difference. Yeah, they absolutely do. Don't kid yourself. They know exactly what they're doing. He is so estranged from the reality. He has no one. Why does he keep going with it? It does not work. Well, okay, so let's talk about magic thinking, okay? So when you're dealing with an abuser, you're dealing with somebody who emotionally is on the level of maybe on a good day, if the wind is blowing in the right direction, a 6-year-old. So 6-year-olds have got a huge amount of magic thinking, pulling up the blanket and going, if I don't see the monster doesn't see me. And I'm just going to hang with that. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. And they never change their opinion, even though incoming data is saying otherwise. So they do definition of insanity. They do the same behavior over and over and over and over and over again, expecting, like literally expecting a different outcome. Why? Because they're them and it should be different. Well, because I say so. Because they're crazy. Because remember, narcissists have this sense of entitlement and they really honestly feel that the rules do not apply to them. They have a little bit of psychopathy going on. So they have got that magic thinking that the rules don't apply to them. And that if they just do it this way again, this time it'll work, just like a little kid. So, but a malicious little kid. So yeah. All right. Oh, Laura, yeah, she had issues, sweetie. It wasn't you. It was not you, okay? It wasn't you ever. Please don't ever think it was you. All right. It's 72 hours. My son threatened suicide on Facebook almost 10 years ago. He was 16. I called the police and took him to the hospital. He never did it again. Yeah, see? That's a good thing. Okay. Yes. When I left my narc, she sent me wedding rings in the mail and told me if I came back to her, I could get her pregnant. Oh my God. That's a little scary. Yeah. And this is something I wanted to talk about too, is that abusers will immediately get pregnant. They will demand pregnancy if they're female. If they're male, they can also demand that you get pregnant. Why? Because it attaches you to them for the next 18 to forever years. So yeah, be very suspicious of somebody who, quick engagement, quick this, quick that, let's get pregnant, let's have a family. That's no bueno. Okay. Long distance troller threatened suicide if I didn't call him back. I'd recently gone gray rock on him. Then he called 3 times in 5 days, never leaving a message. 2 days passed, another call. This time a message stating if I didn't return this call, he would never call again. He just called without leaving a message. How long does this stage last? Block them so they can't even leave a message. Seriously. It's like, if you're done being abused, if you're really serious about it, then block them so they can't even leave a message. Just block the number, block it, block them on all social media. And that's how you put it into that. And then if they contact you, then you can go to the police and file an order of protection, because at that point we have now reached cuckoo for Cocoa Puffness. So when somebody starts creating false personas, when somebody starts doing different personas on Facebook or on YouTube or whatever, and leaving nasty messages, that has now reached the realm of they're crazy. Okay. So yeah, that's why I'm having my intern write everything down and keep track of, and because again, IPS addresses, they're so stupid. It's like they don't understand. It's like you can change your persona as much as you like. It's connected to the computer, sweetheart. So all you have to do is find the IPS address and it goes right back to them. So yeah. All right. My anger is usually driven by hurt. Yeah, absolutely. Medical marijuana. Okay. So here's the thing. And I've talked about this before. I am a fan of medical marijuana. I have seen it work wonders in clients that had PTSD and CPTSD. I really honestly did and have and do. And I am a strong believer in it. I'm also a strong believer in the use of the hemp oils for situations like pain and things like that. So do your research. It's not for everybody. It is not. But I would much prefer somebody be on medical marijuana than addicted to opiates or, some other substance that's going to harm them. Now, can you be harmed by marijuana? Yeah, if you overdose it, like anything else. But, do your research. If this is an option for you and your state has this, go for it. I have no problem with that. As long as it's not being abused, I don't care. As long as it's helping you, I don't care. So yeah, absolutely. Okay. I have an ex-guy friend who was a narc that would call me saying he wanted to kill himself. He would tell me, hold on, I'm calling 911, and he would say, never mind. Yeah, as soon as you tell them you're calling the police or something, they stop, because now it's no fun for them, because they don't get to manipulate you. Now they have to deal with the police. So yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. Okay. So, okay, so Sue, yeah, they'll use grandchildren against you. Okay, so when you are going no contact with an abusive parent, okay, and I've talked about this in other videos, when you are going no contact with an abusive parent and you've got children, they could pull out the whole grandparent rights thing, or they can guilt trip. I'll never get to see my grandchildren, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, if they're abusive, you don't want your children seeing them. Seriously. I mean, think about it. If they treated you like shit, what makes you think they're not going to treat the grandkids like shit? So you don't want your kids around these people. Let them guilt trip. They can say and do whatever they want. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to protect your children to the best of your ability. And if that means that going no contact with that parent, then you go no contact with that parent, because those kids don't need to be around that. They don't. And don't feel guilty. Do not feel guilty. Get with a good therapist. Work on the guilt. You owe them nothing. The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker. Read it. Good book. Self-Esteem Workbook by Schiraldi. Read it. Good book. CPTSD From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. Good book. Read it. It's excellent. Okay. Don't kick the dog, kick the abuser. Yes. Okay. Okay. Margaret, I don't know about the Gary Shandling show on HBO, which is the Zen Diaries. I don't know. I haven't watched. I don't have HBO, and I very rarely watch television. And if I do, it's usually one of the paranormal shows, because that's kind of a hobby of mine. So yeah, I don't know. The mother could have been narcissistic. I don't know. Okay, are there other healthier ways to express anger instead of punching or hitting? Yeah, you can write it out. Or another thing you can do is go out when you're driving in your car or you're in the parking lot, you just let it out. Shut the car door and scream. Do whatever you need to. Grab a pillow, put it over your face, scream, get it out, yell, do whatever you need to. It depends on how you process. It absolutely depends on how you process. I find personally, like I said, working out on a punching bag to be very therapeutic. The other thing, if I can't, then I write it out. This is what I'm angry about. This is why I'm angry. This is what's happening. This is who I need to talk to. This is who it's directed at. This is why it's directed at this person. This is how I need to say it, and I process it that way. Okay. All right. Okay, passive aggressive is when it's not been safe for us to be actively aggressive. So it comes out sideways. So you want to be honest and own your emotion. Always, 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 always own your emotion. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Why are you feeling it? Who is it directed at? Why is it directed at that person? Is this a justified anger, or is this me just, enjoying the high of angry? Because, caveat, anger stimulates the endorphins, dopamines, neuroepinephrines, adrenaline, etc., that drugs do. That's why when you go to AA meetings and you're with a room full of the old dry drunks, it's like they're there, they've stopped drinking, they're not happy about it, they're pissed as hell. They're rageaholics. Why? Because they're trying to stimulate the endorphins, the dopamines, the neuroepinephrines, the serotonins, the adrenaline that they had when they were drinking. So anger can become addictive. That's another reason why narcs use it. It's addictive. It feels good to them. Oh, it's another supply. It makes them feel powerful because they're getting stimulated the same way a drug would stimulate you. So you want to be careful of that. So, when you are processing your anger, you always want to go, okay, I'm not just going to be angry for the sake of being angry. I need to figure out why I'm angry, who I'm angry at, what's going on, how come I'm feeling hurt, where did I get hurt, how can I make sure that doesn't happen again? Process, 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 and not just reveling in the anger for the sake of anger, if that makes sense. Okay, so yes, the current stuff going on today is very triggering to people who have been abused by cults, who've been abused by white supremacists, who've been abused by any sort of cult that puts down another segment of the population. So really, I would say that the best thing to do is avoid the news. I read the news. I do. I check in every once in a while with the BBC, and I try to see what's going on in the world, in the whole world, what's going on. I try to avoid things like the nightly news or any television news type of things, because remember, if it bleeds, it leads, guys. This is all connected to Hollywood stuff. So it's all about ratings. So of course they're going to, broadcast the worst of the worst of the worst that's happening in the world or the nation or the city or whatever, because they're looking for ratings, guys. And that's why I don't watch the news. It's like I, scan through and I read headlines and I do that, but I don't watch the news. It's going to just upset you. It's going to frighten you. Don't do it. And that's what they're counting on. So don't play into it. So when we get triggered, okay, when we get triggered by things going on, like let's say that there's a white supremacy group that wants to march, okay, and you're getting triggered, right? And people are like, well, it's an amendment. It's the First Amendment right. They have a right to blah, 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 blah. And they don't understand why you're getting triggered. That's the perfect opportunity to educate. But remember, not everybody wants to know. Because remember, there's that whole backlash science. So it's like when somebody's already made up their mind, you're not going to change their mind. You're not, unless they have an epiphany and they're like, oh, geez, I should have had a V8. Maybe I need to learn about this. And so, I mean, use it as an educational moment. And if they're not interested and they don't get it and they're willfully not getting it, then walk away. This is not your tribe. So find your tribe. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. Okay. Yeah, Lori, you can't be a hermit. We are part of the society. It takes a village, and we're all here, and we've got to speak up. We've got to speak up. We've got to stop being afraid. Speak up. Absolutely. Okay. Hang on a second. Why do we disbelieve that we were that they were narcs? Thank you, Debbie, for reposting that, and believe that we caused the mistreatment sometimes. Okay. So it's called cognitive dissonance. So when our abuser is abusing us, they are filling our head full of shit. I mean, really, truly, literally horse shit, just bullshit. It's mega, mega bullshit. They are pushing their agenda. They are pushing their lies. They are telling you that your family and friends are the problem. They are telling you that, this, that, and the other thing about who you are. And when we are being brainwashed, when we have incoming information that is different from what our abuser has been telling us, because now our lives depend upon the abuser, it's called cognitive dissonance. And we would much rather blame ourselves or blame the people that the abuser is telling us are the problem than to really let in that true information that it is the abuser, because it's too frightening. It's too scary. There's too much cognitive dissonance going on. It causes massive amounts of confusion in the brain. And the person goes, no, but it's me. No, it's not my abuser. No, it's me. Because we're connecting the abuser to whatever the original trauma was. So if the original trauma was a mom or a dad or whatever, it's too scary to confront that, because now we have to go back and deal with this. Does that make sense? So, it's never our fault. The mistreatment is never our fault, ever, ever. It is their choice, their responsibility. Absolutely. Put the responsibility back where it belongs. Why is it that when I'm level-headed, I can clearly see the narcissist as a punishing narcissist, but sometimes, especially if I'm lonely, it seems like his criticisms are founded in reality, because again, the cognitive dissonance. So anytime his bullshit pops up and you hear it in your head, you excise it. Thank you for playing an old priest and a young priest walk into a bar. I'm sorry. It's like, seriously, it's like, get out. You're not welcome, demon, seriously. So you get rid of that thought. You excise it. You go, not inviting you in for coffee, motherfucker. I did not deserve sleep deprivation. I did not deserve to be screamed at. It is not my fault. Your life is a miserable piece of shit, motherfucker. You get mad. You get mad. You put it back to where it really belongs. You do not allow the cognitive dissonance to win. And you really remind yourself. That's what I'm saying. Make a list of all the rotten things your abuser ever did to you. Make a list, keep it somewhere where you can read it. And you read it frequently so you can remind yourself of what they did. Okay. And when we're lonely, yeah, absolutely. Because that little kid, that inner child where that wound happened, doesn't want to be alone and confront that original wound. They would rather have the distraction of a friend, a boss, a lover, whatever, to not have to deal with this. So this means you just got to knuckle down and do the inner child work. Absolutely. Why do we go back to if I could have been perfect? Because we are codependent. Because we're codependent. Because we always make it our fault. Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. My fault, all my fault. So it's not our fault. It's not. We couldn't fix them because they didn't want to be fixed. We couldn't heal them because they did not want to be healed. What they wanted to do was abuse, and they did. So again, it's codependency. So Codependent No More by Melanie Beattie. Beyond Codependent No More by Melanie Beattie. Also The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker. It is never our fault. It's not anything we said or did or could have said or could have done or whatever. It's not us, guys. It's not. It's them. It's them. They chose. They absolutely chose. Healthy, normal people do not treat friends like shit. Period. They don't treat friends like shit. They don't treat family like shit. They don't treat anybody like shit because, karma. It's a thing. So, yeah. So they never would have been perfect, sweetie. Their dysfunction is with them. It's not you. It's not you. Stop making it about you. It's not you. Let it go. It's not you. It's not you. Put it back to where it belongs. They chose. They absolutely chose. And they knew exactly what they were doing. Okay. All right. Hang on. All right. Oh, yeah. So family secrets. Oh, God. So the more family, quote unquote, secrets there are, the more dysfunctional the family is. So family secrets are killers, guys. It's like, this should be talked about. Things should need to be out in the open. Abuse is allowed to fester in the dark, basically, which is why you want to shine a light on it as often as you can. So yeah, tight-knit families with family secrets, that's a bad combination and probably dysfunctional. Okay. All right, hang on. Yes, Kay, you do matter. You absolutely matter. Everyone on the face of this planet has a right to exist, and abusers try to make us disappear. They try to make us lose who we are. Abso-fucking-lutely. It's like I talked about in the video, I think it was last week, where I talked about why do they try to make the family and friends of the abusee disappear. Well, they're trying to erase anybody who sees them for the piece of shit that they are. And they try to erase the abused as well and become them, become a mini-me to them, their likes, their needs, their wants, their everything. And they erase who we are. And that's why when people come out of the fog, the fear, obligation, and guilt, and they're on my couch and they've left the relationship and they're terrified because now they're alone. And oh my God, that inner 6-year-old is freaking the fuck out. And oh my God, I don't know who I am. And oh my God, I don't have any friends because all my friends left because this person pushed them all away. And oh my God, I don't have any family because this person told my family that they were horrible and I didn't want to be around them and blah, 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 blah. Stop, breathe. Guys, this is part of the process. You're not going to know who you are when you come out of an abusive relationship, which means you have to stay out of relationships until you get into therapy and figure out who the fuck you are. Because if you don't, some other abuser is going to come along and tell you who you are. And you'll fall right back into it. So you have got to go to therapy and figure out who you are. And absolutely, Kay, you matter. You absolutely matter. Absolutely, you matter. And figure out who you are. Get into a good therapist, work on you, find who you are, get you back, take you back. Just like Tafiti becoming Taka when she loses who she is. And then at the end of the movie, Moana goes up and touches her forehead and says, remember who you are. And then Taka becomes Tafiti again. It's the same damn thing. Find your soul. Find your soul. They've ripped our souls from us. Find your soul. All right. Yes, when you are with your ex, you are getting PTSD. You absolutely are. It is CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, because it happens over and over and over and over and over. That's why it's complex. It's not just a one-time event. It's over and over and over and over and over. You absolutely are getting CPTSD. Absolutely. Yes, they absolutely suss out our weaknesses to manipulate. That's why they mine us for information, especially in the love bombing phase. Tell me everything about your family. Tell me everything about you. What are your likes? What are your dislikes? How can I use this? Ooh, that's what they do. And yeah, absolutely. When we are letting go of a friendship, when we are letting go of a family, when we are letting go of anybody who has been abusive, either directly or abused by proxy, it is a mourning period. You will mourn. Allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to mourn. That's what we have to do. That is our task. is to allow ourselves to feel the emotions. And what you might do is write a goodbye letter. Dear family, dear friend, dear whatever, this is it. Goodbye. I'm not going to put up with abuse anymore. I love you. I will love you forever. And I hereby break this karma contract. I'm not interested in being abused anymore. I love you. Goodbye. And then you cry or you get angry or you do whatever you need to. Emotions are okay. It's what we do with them that makes them either helpful or harmful. Okay. Hang on. Okay. All right. How do you work? Okay. How do you put the difference between a narcissist and a high functioning autistic? There's so many crossovers between them. Well, so, okay. In autism, okay, so they used to call it Asperger's, and it's now on a spectrum. It's now the autism spectrum. So people with autism have a very difficult time recognizing emotions and or expressing emotions, especially if they're in the Asperger's range. So it's like on the higher functioning range. And they can come across as very narcissistic. It is not intentional, though. So if somebody has got Asperger's, honestly, I'd want to see an actual diagnosis from an actual counselor or psychiatrist, because oftentimes abusers will claim to have Asperger's as a cover-up for their nasty behavior. And then it turns out, no, they don't have any diagnosis whatsoever. They self-diagnosed. So how do you tell the difference? You'd have to see the actual diagnosis. You'd have to see that they actually worked with somebody who does that stuff. So, the layperson's not going to be able to tell the difference. So there that is. And honestly, the autism spectrum is not my strong point. It's not. I usually don't work with autism. So find somebody who does know more about autism and ask them. There's an idea. Go find somebody who knows more about it and ask them. So yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, so it's going to be negotiations settled out of court. I have an attorney. Great. Let your attorney do it. Let your attorney do it. Don't give. He's good at it with everyone. Yeah, they usually are. All right. Okay, hang on. Okay, hang on. Going through the questions. Good Lord. Oh my gosh. Could you please explain what... cannot see this. Cavlart? Oh, caveat emptor. It's Latin. So buyer beware. So the caveat, here's your warning. Here's your exceptions. One exception to the rule, caveat. Here's your warning. So buyer beware. It's just be aware. Caveat. Here's your caveat. That's what that means. I think that's what you're talking about. I hope that's what you're talking about. Let me know if that's not what you're talking about. Okay. Okay, hang on. Okay, a lot of you guys just talking back and forth. That's great. Good deal. Backlash. Okay. Cognitive dissonance. Yeah, we talked about that. All right. Okay, hang on. Sorry, guys. Oh, the old priest, the young priest walk into a bar. It's from the well, it's not from The Exorcist, but remember in The Exorcist there was an old priest and a young priest, and they had to go do I saw that movie once. I will never see it again. No. Okay. I don't like movies like that. Scary. Yes. Okay. So Beth, great. It's like releasing anger by focusing on what is causing the anger, like the toxic family, and swear up and down while I'm driving until I feel the grief and the loss. Yeah, that's usually it. So anger usually covers the softer emotions, the more vulnerable emotions of grief and loss and sadness. So yeah, usually, because honestly, when I work out on the punching bag, if I do it long enough, eventually I'll start crying because it's obviously something that's hurt me. So yeah, absolutely. My narc mom never told me that I was a cuckoo child. I always felt that there was something wrong, but found out when I was 50 years old, had a genetic test done. Oh, Family secrets did a lot of damage in my family. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. Okay. So Kate, Self-Esteem Workbook, seriously, by Schiraldi. I want you to do mirror work. That's going to help you. I know everybody makes fun of it because it's the Stuart Smalley stuff. It's like, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn, people like me. But it really, honest to God, does help. So what you're going to do is in the morning, this is part of CBT. What you're going to do in the morning is you're going to wake up, go do your business, brush your teeth, wash your hands, do whatever you need to do, go back to the full-length mirror, make eye contact with yourself. And it's difficult for a lot of us because we've got such poor self-esteem that it's not that we don't like what we see, it's that we don't like what we hear. So we're going to be working on what we're hearing when we look in the mirror. So you look in the mirror, you make eye contact, and you go, hi, good to see you. Have a great day. I give you permission to work on self-esteem. Boom. That's it. That's all you're going to do. Now, this negative, nasty Nelly is going to pop up and it's going to be like, oh, it's so stupid. Why are we doing this? Oh my God. And that's when you got to be like, thank you for your input. Shut the fuck up. Why? Because you say so. Why? Because I say so. And then you replace it with, I get to work on my self-esteem because I say so. Take your power back. Oh yeah. And then at night, I would love for you to come home, look in the mirror. Hi, good to see you again. Hope you had a great day, or you did have a great day. You know what? Here are 3 things you did right today. And you list off the 3 things you did right, because we never validate ourselves. We don't, because our abuser has been beating us down for so long, whether it's a sibling, whether it's a parent, whether it's a boss, whether it's a love interest or whatever. It's time to start validating who and what we are. So validate yourself. Absolutely. Okay. What is the difference between BPD and a covert narcissist? Hang on, half a tick. Okay, borderline personality disorder encompasses all 10 major traits of all 10 traits. Sorry, I'm getting tired here. Let me try this again. BPD, borderline personality disorder, has traits of all 10 major personality disorders. So they can be paranoid, they can be narcissistic, they can be histrionic, they can be obsessive compulsive, they can be avoidant, they can be schizotypal, schizoaffective, they can be, oh, there's 2, 3 others that I'm missing. I will think of them at some point. Yeah, so they can have traits of all 10 major personality disorders, and it borders on extremely psychotic thinking. So when it gets down to the more malignant end of the spectrum, not just the traits of. So the psychotic thinking doesn't make sense. It's a lot of word salad. It's a lot of, very intense emotions, that kind of thing. When it's at these traits of end of it, they will have some psychotic thinking, but not to the extent that when you're down by the queen and the witch. So a covert narcissist is somebody who is not grandiose. Okay. So a grandiose narcissist is Trump. Somebody who's always going, oh, look at me, 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 right? Look, oh, I'm the best ever. Everything I do is the best. I'm the best. That kind of thing. That's a grandiose narcissist. A covert narcissist is very wanting everybody to like them. I need everybody to like me. I need everybody to like me. And here's the reason I need everybody to like me, because if they don't like me, this relationship's not going to work out. And then if they don't like them, they set about to get rid of the person. That's a covert narcissist. That's a total covert narcissist, because they try to come off as this sweet, innocent, oh, I just want everybody to like me. But the reality of it is if the person doesn't like them, they start the smear campaign. That's how you know you're dealing with a covert narcissist. Are they smearing the person? Absolutely. Because you know what? When I don't like somebody, I don't hang around them. Yeah, done. So, and the funny thing of it is they will then claim that the person who sees them for the narcissist that they are is actually the abuser, because how dare they tell the target of abuse that they think that they're a narcissist? So yeah, they're sneaky. They're sneaky little bastards and bitches. You bet. And they will set about to destroy every friendship that target has. They'll set about to destroy every relationship in the family that target has. And they'll make sure that the target doesn't believe the family members that are sitting there going, there's a problem here. This is not normal, So yeah, they're very covert about it. They would make excellent spies. Yeah, absolutely. So that's the difference. So, okay, hope that answered the question. Is it safe to share your page when going through a smear campaign? They may get more ideas. Yeah, they might get more ideas, but here's the thing, they're going to get them anyway. They're going to do whatever they can do. I mean, they do troll pages like this. Absolutely. And then they try to perfect who they are, their abuse, and try to learn the lingo and things like that. But again, their mask eventually slips. It does. They can't maintain it. People eventually figure it the fuck out. So share away. Whatever. Okay, Chris, I'm not sure. At one point, I snapped back and realized everything that was going on wasn't me. It was my ex. I am spiritual, and I asked God to give me the strength to get away. Good. Yeah. Rely on whatever your higher power is. And I don't care whether your higher power is God, Bufa Baba, Buddha, the tree outside, your cat. I don't care. As long as you are working on you. That's really it. I just want you to be okay. That's really it. So yeah, is faith a great thing? I think so. Do I pray? You betcha. I pray to God every day. Absolutely. Am I a traditional Christian? No. No, because I don't go to church and I don't do any of that. Mainly because of the experiences I had with my dad growing up. It's like, no, thank you. I really don't need to be blamed for the world's ills. Thank you very much. I do enjoy Buddhism as a philosophy to be very congruent with and enmesh with the Christianity. So whatever works for you guys. I love faith. I think a lot of times faith has gotten me through the worst parts of my life because it's kind of like, obviously, if you watch the Vetrinolin thing, I was calling on Jesus the whole time. So, I mean, it can be a very good thing. So, but if religion has been used as a form of abuse, it could be a very bad thing. So again, you do what works for you. That's basically it. And unfortunately, Jesus has been used as a tool for abusers. Absolutely. And Christianity has been used as a tool for abusers. So you do what works for you. Absolutely. And I love praying. And meditation is really a form of prayer. So, if it's on the side of good and God and goodness and light, go for it. Absolutely, go for it. Praying can be very helpful. Absolutely. Meditation can be very helpful. So you do what works for you. Absolutely. Okay. What if anger is partially habitual, like towards random strangers who have somehow affronted me? I guess it's a flea. Yeah, it's an absolute flea. So that's when, you get angry. The same thing with a panic attack. As soon as you recognize you're getting angry, you've got to stop yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. I can't believe I just did that. But you got to stop yourself and you kind of got to go, wait, whoa, why am I getting really angry at this total stranger that I don't even understand? Now, of course, if you're driving in Phoenix and it's the fucking snowbirds that refuse to go the speed limit, I can totally understand that. But if you're just like, reading stuff into something that somebody has said and taking it personally, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Do you know this person? Why are you getting angry? What's the deal? If it's a habit, it's a bad habit. Break it. So figure out why you're getting angry. Figure out why you're getting angry. Absolutely. Okay. Get outside and walk the dog. Yes. Oh, geez, you started talking to yourself with your hands. I'm so sorry. It's a good visualization for that, negative, nasty voice that's like, and you're just telling it to shut up, it really is. Okay. My field is working with SIN education, supporting adults with autism. Yeah, they have cognitive delay in social and emotional development and sensory deprivation over sensory stimulation. The biggest clue is unable to recognize facial expressions to emotions with practical sequences, including numeric literacy, struggling in translation from topic, room, task, environment, etc., which can result in the challenging behavior. I hope this helps. It's a brief example. Lucy, you're brilliant. Thank you. So Lucy Francis has got the information on autism that I don't. So go read that comment. It's a good comment. Okay. I was afraid at first because of my ex showing up where I lived. Don't be afraid, guys. Don't be afraid. They love to intimidate. They do, and they will threaten to do things like that. But if they start showing up at your job, you inform HR, and then you start keeping a log of it, and you get an order of protection, and you go protect yourself. Absolutely. Okay. Nightmares. Okay, yes, we will get nightmares from the PTSD. So that is our brain trying to process the abuse, honestly. So what can we do about it? Well, nightmares are a natural function. So honestly, what might help is to write them down as soon as you wake up. I know sometimes that's hard to do, especially if you wake up in a panic, screaming, things like that. But what I find to be very helpful is if I have a nightmare, I will immediately, because I keep a dream log, I will immediately jot it down and then I will look up what it means according to Jung and according to, there's a great thing called dream moods. Now, is dream moods always on? No. Sometimes their explanation of things, I'm like, are you smoking the ganja? And why aren't you sharing? No, seriously. But it's like sometimes their stuff is right on, and other times it's like, nah, that doesn't really fit, or yeah, it does fit, or whatever. So look up dream moods. It's a really good reference for symbology in dreams. And you just basically see if that fits what it feels like to you. So like, for example, like if you have a dream about spiders and you're killing spiders, it could be a representation of, maybe this is the flying monkeys. Maybe this is you're trying to kill something that's trying to harm you, kind of thing. So you just look up stuff and see if it resonates with you. If it does, great, maybe it's helpful. And if it doesn't, well, okay, it didn't fit. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. So, but dreams can be very symbolic. And so it is a good idea to pay attention to them to see what your subconscious is working on. And oftentimes you can interpret your own dreams. You don't necessarily need dream moods to do it, but sometimes it helps. Like you get a weird symbol and you're like, okay, battleship. Why am I dreaming about a battleship? I never had anything to do with battleship. You look up battleships and it means whatever. So yeah, and it resonates. Great. Okay, you found your answer. So yeah, so do that. Yeah, nightmares, they're going to happen. So what you can do is you can program yourself at night to go to sleep. So when you're in the mirror and you're looking in the mirror, you're doing the mirror work, 3 things you did right. And at the very end, you say something like, I give you permission to dream beautiful, sweet dreams. I give you permission to dream well and to rest well and to sleep well. You do that. So what you're doing is you're programming your subconscious, and it works. And I think I've told this story before. I'm going to tell it again. When I went in to go get my last colonoscopy, because I have to get colonoscopies, yay, aging, fabulous. But when I went in to get my last colonoscopy, I told my husband, I said, I am going to tell myself that I'm going to dream about Oded Fehr, who is an Israeli actor who's drop dead gorgeous. So I'm in the recovery room. John is with the nurse, and the nurse is laughing, and she's like, who the hell is Oded Fehr? And apparently I was babbling about Oded Fehr the whole time. So yeah, you can do that. You can reprogram. You can program your brain to dream pleasant things. And that's what you're going to have to start doing. It's okay for you. Give yourself permission. It's okay for me to have sweet dreams. It's okay for me to have good dreams. It's okay for me to feel safe. Okay. So yeah, you just start doing that. How about narcissism and OCD? My narc was a clean freak and would rage at me about being messy. Yes, they use that. They use it. It's a use. It's a tool. Having too many magazines, too many shoes, called me a hoarder, rage about papers left on the table. That was when the mask slipped the first time. Yeah, they will use the OCD thing as a tool to punish, you're not as neat as I am. You're not as clean as I am. You're a slob. You're this. You were raised in a barn, blah, blah, blah. I mean, all sorts of nasty stuff. So yeah, don't put up with it. Absolutely. Yeah, they use that. Absolutely. It's a tool like anything else. How to deal with a narc middle-aged daughter who still empathizes with and caretakes the narc dad 6 years after the divorce. She limits time with the grandchildren to control me. There's nothing you can do. They're adults. There's really nothing you can do. I mean, you can point it out. You can point out the behavior. You can point out the issue. You can, do that. But it's like, she's an adult. And yeah, she's using the grandkids. And, you just be you. And you keep doing you, and eventually people grow up and they start making up their own minds, and that's all you can do. And that's just be consistent, be consistent, be consistent. Now, if you wanted to, you could try the whole grandparent rights thing, but it is a difficult right to get because, unless there's something going on, it's unlikely that a judge will grant it, but you could try it. But that's about it. That's the only suggestion I have. So yeah, you can, because you can't control the daughter, and you've got limited contact with the kids. So, and they're siding with the narcissistic parent. So time usually will work its way through. And sometimes, not always, sometimes the grandkids are the ones that go, hey, you know what? This parent or this grandparent is not as bad as everybody was saying they were. So it's a thing. It's not easy. It really isn't. Okay. Is dissociative identity disorder real? Abso-fucking-lutely. Yes. And I have dealt with several clients that have dissociative identity disorder. Now, everybody thinks that it's civil and it's like they've got 20 million personalities. It can be. Yeah, absolutely. They can have multiple personalities. Oftentimes it's more something like dissociating, just leaving the body, floating out of the body, sense of unrealness. So it's this sense that things are happening and it's not quite real. Is this real? Is this fantasy? What is this? I don't know. That's dissociating. Okay. Is it real? Yeah, you betcha. And in extreme cases, yeah, trauma victims will assign different personalities to cope with different things going on in their lives. Absolutely. I absolutely 110%. Yes, because I've seen it. Absolutely. It's real. Yeah, I love the idea of God, but not thrilled with religion. I agree. And for me, after that experience with my dad, I still believed in God. I very much believe in God. I very much believe in Jesus and all the saints. I'm like angels, the whole thing. And for me, when I feel the closest to God, saints, angels, etc., is when I'm walking my dogs, when I'm out in nature, when I'm, up at sunrise with John and we're going down the canal and we're with the pups and we're, taking care of the dogs and being out in nature. That to me is when I feel the closest to God. That's my church. And I do that every day. So, it's what works for you. It doesn't have to be an organized religion. I believe firmly that God loves us no matter where we are. And no matter where we are talking to him, it's okay. He's there. He, she, or it is there. So yeah, it doesn't have to be affiliated with a religion. You can have a communication with God and not be in a religion. So yeah, that's perfectly okay. Absolutely. Chris, what's a good way to heal from religious abuse, especially in the misogynistic side? Years of ultra-Orthodox schooling says don't pursue goals of love yourself because it's shameful for a woman. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. So for me, it was kind of like the epiphany I had, and this is just for me, guys. I'm not saying this is what y'all need to do. But for me, it was recognizing that God is everywhere. God is literally in every one, everything, every fiber of this universe, okay? And why would God, whoever he, she, or it is, want us to be made in their image, but then hate half of their image? Do you see where I'm going with that? Doesn't make sense. So remember, and I'm going to get myself into trouble here because people are going to start arguing with me on it, and I don't really care, but here's the deal. The Bible is one of the most edited, censored, rewritten books in the world, okay? There are things that have been taken out, put in, because there were all sorts of councils around the 700s, 900s, something like that, where they decided what the Bible was going to be. Most of these accounts were written at least 100 years after the death of Christ. So, and remember, back in that day, it was all about politics and control. You had the Eastern Pope, you had the Western Pope, and they were fighting and they wanted to get control over that. So there's a whole bunch of history that goes into the Bible, okay, and how it came about to be the way it is now. And when things were written, women did not have rights. Women were chattel. Women were considered property. And for the very longest time, it was said at one point that women didn't have souls, much like slaves supposedly didn't have souls. Do you see where I'm going with that? So you have to take this stuff in the geopolitical, economic time frame that it was written in, basically. And again, my experience of God is that God loves. Love is the ultimate power in the universe. Love is the ultimate power in the universe. It trumps everything. It trumps hate. It trumps, fear. It trumps everything. And if God created us in God's image, why would he want us to hate ourselves? Or why would he want us to hate half the population? It doesn't make sense. So if God is love, guess what? We get to love ourselves. Because by loving ourselves, we are also loving God. And by loving God, we are loving ourselves. Intermingled. So that's how I believe that. And yes, I got hit with that as well. And I got hit with the whole, you can't love yourself because of Eve. And at this point, honestly, when anybody pulls that out to me, my answer to that is, when I die and go to heaven and I find Eve, I'm going to break my foot off in that bitch's ass. Which part of don't eat the goddamn apple don't you fucking understand, you fucking whore? So do you see where I'm going with that? It's like, you got to throw that stuff out. You love yourself. You love God. You love you. God is within all of us. God created us. We're in his or her image. Why would God want us to hate God? Because if we're created in them, why would we hate ourselves? Hello? So it's all about love. It's all about love. And it's all about letting go of the dogma. It is, because it's not real and it's geopolitical, and really do the research. It's like, read about all of the political things that were going on at the time that the Bible was put together. So, and these are all just, ways to control. You make one part of the population feel like they don't have a soul. Well, then it's easier to abuse them. I mean, look at how the slaves were treated. It was literally said that slaves had no soul. Supposedly the black population had no soul, and that was their excuse for slavery, is because, they were soulless. Well, that's bullshit. So that anytime a population is put down and told to feel ashamed of who they are, you can guarantee it that there is some abuser back there that's wanting to use and abuse them. So love yourself. Absolutely. It's okay. I think it's okay. And I'm pretty sure it's okay with God. So, and this is where people get all messed up. People are like, oh, but if I love myself, I'm being arrogant, or I'm being vain, or I'm being this, that, or the other thing. No, guys, again, other esteem is screaming for people to tell you you're okay. Okay. That's other esteem. That's, look at me, tell me I'm great, tell me I'm great, tell me I'm great. That's other esteem. Self-esteem is just that quiet little voice inside of you going, good job. Good job. Do it again. Good job. Get up and do it again. Yep, you're okay. Good job. That's self-esteem. You can acknowledge that you are pretty. You can acknowledge that you are good looking. You can acknowledge that you are smart. You can acknowledge that you are all these things if you are all these things. Now, if you're sitting there screaming at the world, I'm the best president ever, and you're not, then Houston, we have a problem. Do you see where I'm going with that? Self-esteem is just being self-aware and knowing your worth, and you're worthy, and it's okay, no matter what anybody says. So yeah, anytime any organized religion or unorganized religion tries to tell some part that they're less than and it's not okay and you should be ashamed of loving yourselves, they're not working for God. That's all I got to say about that. Okay. Holy cow. It's 2:00. Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. Hang on. All right. Okay, hang on, sorry. You had dreams of somebody coming to kill you until your divorce was finalized. Oh, I believe it. Books on autism, Donna Williams, Nobody, Nowhere, Nicole Higashida, The Reason I Jump, Mark Hayden, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, Temple Grandin, Thinking in Pictures. So those are good books on autism. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Hang on. All right. If someone is sending you letters with no return address, can you stop the post office from sending them to you if you know the post code comes from the post office it's coming from? I don't know. That's a good question. I honestly don't know the answer to that. I would go check with the post office and see what the deal is. Okay. Partner has symptoms and part of the dissociation. She has BPD. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't always, DID, dissociative identity disorder, does not always manifest in multiple personalities. Sometimes it can manifest, like I said, in just that otherworldly, floating out of your body, is this real, is this not real kind of feeling, or watching stuff from the corner of the room. That's when I'm dealing with, especially adult victims of sexual abuse. When they were abused as kids, they will often, when we talk about what happened, they will often recount it saying that they were floating in the corner of the room watching it happen to them. So it was a way of coping. Okay. Yeah, God is not controlling, thus God is not a narc. I like that. All right. Okay. Okay. All right, hang on, guys. Sorry. What's a good way to calm and chill yourself if you've been accidentally triggered, or a triggering day of the year? Okay, so for me, April Fool's Day, I hate it. So I just kind of geared my loins when I know it's going to happen, and it's like, okay, remind yourself, everybody's going to be printing fake news and it's going to be bullshit out on the internet, and yay. So you just kind of remind yourself that that's what's going on. And you just be as kind and gentle to yourself as possible. You avoid as much of it as you possibly can. And you let people know you're not going to put up with it. That's really what you do. And you just be gentle with you. Gentle, 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 gentle with you. That's why every time I sign off on one of the things that you guys ask me something, I'm always like, stay strong and be gentle with yourself. Because we're not. We tend not to be very gentle with ourselves. And we need to be gentle with ourselves. So please be gentle with you. Okay. All right. I have doubts. I have no doubt my ex had DID. I have pictures to prove it. Yep. Narc's birthday is this Friday, and I want to make sure I'll be okay since we always spent them together. Go do something for you. Happy birthday to you. Go get a massage. Go get reflexology. Go get your nails done. Go get a manicure. Go get a pedicure. Go do your hair. Go do something fabulous for you. Okay. You get to do something nice for you this Friday. Okay. Or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, it's 2 hours now. Wow. And I still didn't get to the list of questions that I had from earlier in the week because wow. So keep the questions coming. I'm going to sign off now because it's been 2 hours. Good Lord. And I have things I need to do. So, all right. So to recap, communal narcissists, any community, doesn't have to be religious. They use it to use that group as flying monkeys, and they use it to control and manipulate the target of abuse. Great questions today, guys. Keep the questions coming. You can find me on Facebook. We Need to Talk with Chris Godinez. You can also leave comments on the YouTube page. We Need to Talk with Chris Godinez on YouTube. Remember, I will be in Atlanta, April 21st and 22nd, doing book signings and a lecture. Go to Eventbrite Atlanta, Chris Godinez, and it'll pop it up. You can get your tickets there, and please feel free to stop by and see me. I have sent books to both of those places, so they should be getting there Wednesday. You'll be able to buy them ahead of time. Cannot think of anything else. Share these videos, educate the living crap out of everybody you know. That is our mission. I will be putting up the Vetdrenalin little things that I did here on Facebook. I'm going to need to edit them and put them together and figure out how to do that. Please go visit Just Manny's page, Vetdrenalin. It's amazing. If you know a veteran, if you are a veteran, you have PTSD, you know somebody with PTSD, please, please, please hook them up with Just Manny and Vetdrenalin. It's a great organization. It's wonderful for the vets. Please donate if you can. I truly appreciate it. All right, guys, I think that's it. I will talk to you later. Have a great Easter Sunday. Bye. Oops. Yes, I would like to end this.